I dedicated all of my free time over the last 6 months to designing and building my dream van. I bought an empty cargo van while I was living in a minivan, and I had been living in that minivan and traveling around the country for a couple of years. I worked remotely, got a master's degree online, made YouTube videos, and went on adventures, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I was living in a vehicle that I could barely sit up in. It wasn't an easy life, but it wasn't that difficult of a life either. It was a fun life. I make good money and I haven't paid rent in about 4 years, so fortunately for me, money was never the reason why I chose to live in a minivan. I chose to live in a minivan because it was easy. I put some work into making it more livable, but I didn't have to worry about heat or air conditioning or parking or maintenance or anything really. I just bought a brand new minivan and started living in it. It was my dorm room on wheels, and I tried to spend as little time in it as possible. Although I was very happy, I thought my life could be better, and I decided it would be stupid of me to never try living in a van that I could actually stand up in. So I started to look online at camper vans for sale, and it was very overwhelming. There were vans for sale for $20,000, $100,000, even $300,000, and I didn't know where to begin. I'm sure plenty of those vans would have worked out fine for me, but there was one big problem in my eyes with that plan. I wouldn't understand how my van actually worked. I wouldn't understand how I had electricity or how I had running water or how I had heat. I may have had all those nice things, but I wouldn't have known how I had them. And that just didn't sit well with me. I need to understand things, and if I didn't understand how a $200,000 van worked, I would never be at peace living in it. I would always feel reliant on someone being able to fix it for me. Before I started van life, I watched all the fancy van tours that you've probably watched. I wanted a fancy van of my own that had all the things a home would have, and I daydreamed of building it myself. I watched tutorials on electricity and plumbing and insulation and heating, and the list goes on and on. Tried to learn how it all worked, but eventually it was too overwhelming, and I gave up on that dream. And that's when I bought my minivan. And that's when I started living the van life in a vehicle that wasn't my dream vehicle, but it was an ideal vehicle for easy van life. And like I said, that minivan worked out really well for me. I lived the van life and I experienced all the things I wanted to experience, but deep down I knew my dream van didn't just have to be a dream and I could make it a reality if I really tried. So I decided to try. I put van life on pause for 6 months, bought a blank slate of a van, and built everything you see here by myself. I was not prepared, I did not have a plan, but I did have a vision, and I did not stop until I saw it through. I tried to learn how things worked, failed to get them to work, and then learned from my mistakes. And now I can proudly say I understand how my $90,000 home works, because I built it. As you watch this tour, I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I don't want this tour to be just another video that convinces you van life is unachievable. This van is my dream van, but I've learned that any van can be your dream van if it lets you live your dream life. Start small, start simple, and get on the road. You won't do it perfectly, but you don't have to. This is my van. It's a 2024 Mercedes Sprinter all-wheel drive high roof. I'm 6'1", so I can stand in shoes and not hit my head, which was really important. You have a lot of clearance because the ceiling is really thin. The whole van interior is 1/4-inch birch plywood that is stained with a warm, flat polyurethane. I used like 3 coats and sanded in between, so it's a really smooth finish, and I love how it turned out. To me, it feels very retro, but also
outdoorsy. I wanted it to kind of feel like you're in the wild when you're in the van. And I love the wood grain in the wood. It really stands out. All the wood grain is matched to go in the same orientation. This is basically the focal point of the van. In bed here, this is where I'm going to be spending the most time. And I really wanted it to be nice for laying in bed at night, listening to music, looking out at the stars, camping in the wilderness. My queen size bed, it's super comfy. It feels like a normal bed. So you're really not making any sacrifices having this futon mattress, I think. And what's really nice about this is laying here, I can look out my skylight. It has a blackout shade to make it dark at night, and then it also has a bug screen. And the reason it has this bug screen is because this thing opens up and you get full visibility. You can lay in bed at night and look at the stars, or you can lay in bed during the day and look at the sky. I can stand up, and now I can access anything that I have stored on the roof. I've got a lot of space for anything I can think of, really. And another nice thing, I get to look at these cabinets, which is a continuous wood grain from the side here going up. So when you're laying down, you get to see the nice birch plywood here. This is 1/2-inch plywood for the cabinets, the upper cabinets. I made these myself, and they have these bungee pockets on them that you can undo like this to get access to what's in them. Hook them like this. They also have a pocket here, so you could put something in there if you wanted. You'll notice these black rails that are on the ceiling and on the walls. There's one that goes about 3 feet high on the walls. Then there's one that's about 5 feet high. And then there's these ceiling ones, which go the full length of the van, which is about 10 feet. These give you a mounting point for basically anything you can think of. I also have a lot of mounting points for things that you could hang, like hooks. Pretty much all throughout the van, there are coat hangers, these D-rings that you can hang things from. So these are my Govee recessed dome lights. They're 6 inches. They have an inner ring, and then they have an outer ring, and I can control the color to be anything I want from my phone. They also have different scenes that you can do, which I like to do at night. You can have the aurora, rainbow, wave. There's all sorts of color options that I can do. I didn't want to make a decision on having warm light or cool light, but with these I can have both. So here is cool light with it being a bright white, and here is yellow light. I can do anywhere in between. It gives me a lot of options. And they also have a night light setting where only the outer ring is lit. So you can see here the inner circle is off, and then the outer one is that warm yellow. So this is a nice nighttime setting. I also spray painted this ring black. Everything throughout the van is all the hardware, any fixtures or accent pieces are black. So like these D-rings are black, the lights are black. I spray painted the Skylight housing black. All of this is black. So this is the bed in bed mode, but there are basically 3 positions that this bed can take. There's bed mode, couch mode, and then there's basically stowed away mode. And this bed that I designed, I've never seen someone else do this style of bed. To me, it's the first of its kind. And it's very similar to what I had in my minivan, where you have a couch and bed option. And to me, this is the perfect layout because you don't have to decide on a fixed bed like this or a bed that you have to take apart every day. It's pretty much flexible to whatever you want it to be. So to put it into couch mode, it's sort of a work in progress right now, but it has a pulley system on the back here that I'm going to basically pull up, and it'll lift the back up, and I'll slide this forward and it'll go into a couch, like a Chase lounge chair basically. Underneath here there are handles that I grab, and I lift this up. I grab this pulley system and I lift up like that. I'm gonna hook this here. So now I have the bed in couch mode, where you have about like 4 feet of leg room here, and then the back sits up like this, and it's a super comfy couch now, where you have full support like this. My legs are supported fully to the end of the bed. I'll have it in couch mode most of the time, I think, when I'm just, throughout the day, it'll be in couch mode like this. And this is what I wanted the bed to be able to do, was to have a nice couch that utilized the fact that I have this nice futon mattress. So it's basically like a futon, but it folds in the hamburger direction instead of hot dog like most futons. And you can still see the skylight here. I can sit up and not hit my head, which is nice. And option 3 is this whole thing can go wedged to the back here. So I grab these handles and I just push the bed like that. And then with my rope pulley system, I would latch it here and it would just stay like this throughout the day. So I have this counter space open, this counter space open. Another thing about this, I plan on being able to have passengers drive with me and sit on this. So there will be seatbelt straps on each side that go across, like a roller coaster seatbelt where it's across your waist. And I could sit 2, maybe 3 people on here. It's super strong. It's built out of aluminum. So this is, it's really strong. It has these foam edges here that keep it in the track of the countertops below it. So it doesn't move side to side. It doesn't really slide forward and backwards unless you're trying to get it to. And so with this option, I have a queen size bed. I have a couch. I have seating when I drive for up to 3 people probably. And then the third option is I just move it out of the way, and I have all this space available. If I lift up just the futon part of it, you have the carpeted section here available as like a tabletop if you wanted. So I could have a chair here, sit here, and do work if I wanted to. So this is my Lagoon tabletop that can move around to be positioned wherever I want it. And under here, this is my fridge and freezer. It's Dometic dual zone, so you can control each side separately. I could have this be a freezer, this be a fridge, or vice versa. And I carpeted it with the same carpet that goes throughout the van. This is a green kind of tweed material that won't show stains or imperfections as closely. And I can sit on this and have this table available here. You can slide around to different positions. So this is a nice sitting configuration, and I can look out the window here. I could open the door up, and I plan on sitting like this a good amount. In the future, I'm going to have other mounts for this tabletop throughout the van so I can use it in different configurations like this. And so if I add a bracket like here, I could have the table be like this and I could access it from bed. So this gives me a lot of options. I haven't seen anyone do this the way I did it. I mounted this table to the fridge. So this fridge can move around and the table mount will stay with it. And I'll make a video in the future on how I did this, but I really like how I covered up the fridge and it doesn't look like a fridge. It looks like it's furniture essentially. The tabletop for this table I got from IKEA. It's black marble laminate and it's like 3/4 inch, so it's pretty lightweight, but it's super strong and it has a warranty for like waterproofness and scratch resistance. It's also black with these white streaks, so if I do accidentally scrape this, you won't really be able to tell. It'll hide a lot of the imperfections. And this countertop goes throughout the van here. These are my IKEA lower cabinets. I couldn't get a wood that perfectly matches the birch, but I got a lighter tone wood with the same horizontal grain pattern, and it's basically like a two-tone wood interior with black handles here. These doors open up, and they are the IKEA hinges that are like 150-degree openings, so they go really far like this, which just makes it easier to kind of move around in the van. And they're soft close with a magnetic lock, so they kind of just go like that. Over here, this cabinet has my heater in it. So this vent right here blows out warm air. I control it from this device here. It's an Espar heater, so it's the top of the line, safest diesel heater, and it runs off of the Sprinter's diesel fuel tank. And I can still open this cabinet here, and I have storage within here with the heater at the very bottom there. And so when this is blowing air, I can kind of reposition this little worm hose wherever I want the air to blow. So a lot of options for that, and it all controls from right here. The temperature sensor is this device, so if I set it to 70 degrees, it'll heat up the van. Once this senses that the van is 70 degrees inside, it'll shut off, and then it'll just maintain that temperature in here.
Moving on to probably the most important part of the van that everyone asks me about, the bathroom. I basically have this makeshift, very simple, disposable toilet system from REI. You buy these bags that have this chemical in them that absorbs liquid and masks smell, and you basically go in this bag sitting on a plastic toilet seat, and then you seal up the bag like a Ziploc bag, and it's pretty much airtight, but I basically just go throw it out whenever I can, as soon as possible. And then after you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands. I've got soap, I've got paper towel, so it's okay.
Down here is my sink. It has a pop-up faucet here that you can adjust and put it down when you want it to be out of the way. It also has a cutting board that fits in here to cover it. And I have 10 gallons of fresh water, which is under here with two 5-gallon clean water jugs. And it's only cold water. I don't have a water heater, but I do have a water pump. It's a 12-volt pump that goes to my battery. And so I have full running water here, but it's cold, not hot. Then off to the side here, I have this pop-up counter. It's all out of the same black laminate marble from IKEA. So you get this nice continuous countertop here for more space. And if I'm cooking right here, I have I'm going to get a propane stove that I can put here, and I can look out the window while I'm cooking. Moving on to the windows, these are top of the line acrylic pane windows. So the acrylic, they're not glass. They are lighter weight, and they can't break as easily, and then they don't store heat or cold, so they're better for insulation. And these are really nice. They come with a built-in blackout shade like this, that completely blocks the light, no seeping of the light out the corners. And then they also have a bug screen like this that comes down. And the reason you have a bug screen is because these open up. They're canopy style, I believe is what they're called. So I can do this, and now the window is fully open, letting in air, and I can put this bug screen down and get a breeze. And then I have another window on this side here that does the same thing. So now you have a breeze coming, a cross breeze throughout the van. So in the summer, it'll cool this off a lot. And then the other way that this van will cool down, I don't have air conditioning, but I have this fan here. This is a really nice new fan option for vans. It's 12 volt. It has a light built in, and it sucks out air or it can pull air in. It's clear, the dome of it, so light comes in, so it's almost like a skylight. And this only just recently started being available for sale in the US, so I'm one of the first people to have it. It also has a blackout shade like the Skylight, and I painted this black to go with all the black fixtures. Turn that off. And then you can control it from this remote too, which is nice. And this remote, unlike the normal fans that people use, this you don't have to point at the fan for it to work. I can point it anywhere I want. You don't have to have a direct sight to the fan, so I could control this from outside the van if I wanted. I also have a 120 volt outlet here, so I have an induction cooktop that if I want to use, I can plug in here. I could set it here, I could set it here, and I could cook and plug in there. You have this whole space available to you if you want. So if I ever use this van not as a camper, so I'm not sleeping in it, I could get rid of the bed and I would just have a full walkway here with these cabinets going all the way down. The electrical system for the van is an EcoFlow Delta Pro. It is 3.6 kilowatt hours of capacity, and it charges from solar on the roof or the car when it's driving. I get 800 watts from the car when it's driving, and then I have two 250 watt solar panels on the roof. So I have a maximum of 500 watts, and I could even add another solar panel into the middle of the roof to be a total of 750 watts, which is a ton. And this just stays out of the way here. Again, the soft close cabinets magnetically stay put, so you really got to pull on it to open them. And I haven't had any issues while I'm driving of the cabinets opening. And another nice part of this layout is if I have people with me that are sitting in here while I'm driving, and then we go camping and they're going to sleep somewhere, I have the full floor open here where I could put an air mattress or two down, and people could basically sleep like this underneath the bed, and it would be like a bunk bed setup. Also, I can access the cabinets that are way in the back if I get down like this. In here, I have a microwave. So this, and I also have an AC outlet, 120 volt here, connected to the battery. So I've got a microwave that I can cook food with. I'll have a propane stove, and then I have my sink. The front of the cabin here, these are swivel seats that turn around like this, which means I can sit here and have a comfortable seating position. And then this swivel top here can come around and give me a perfect tabletop here. And I plan on basically doing most of my work sitting like this with my computer here. And this is like the most comfortable seating option. You have like an actual seat. So up here you have this is also birch plywood, and it is a shelf. So you have storage up top here. In here It's a nice big storage space that has hooks on here. I have this Bose speaker that I can kind of hang wherever I want in the van, and it's a 360 speaker, Bluetooth, so I can have really good sounding music in here. And then also above here is my T-Mobile home internet. It's 5G internet, and it's connected to an antenna right here, and this antenna boosts the signal from it. So in the past, I was in Crater Lake, at the top of Crater Lake in Oregon, one of the most remote places in the country, and I was able to get signal and do my job, do Zoom meetings, and it's about $50 a month for T-Mobile home internet, and basically I have internet wherever I go as long as there's a T-Mobile signal that gets boosted from this antenna. Down here I have this wall where I can put stickers of places I've gone, and I think it's a nice thing that I can just always kind of add stickers to and fill that wall up. All the walls have insulation behind them. It's 3M Thinsulate insulation, so the top of the line waterproof, fireproof insulation. There's about 100 linear feet of 3M insulation behind here, so it's super well insulated, super quiet from the inside. You can't hear anything from the outside. Here I have bug screens that come down. They unclip, and they have a magnetic wall here that you can, or magnetic door that you can open up and close and get access in and out and stop the bugs from coming in. So anywhere that I couldn't really cover the van walls with wood because they're like difficult angles, I got fake plants and I basically put them up. So like these parts here normally are really hard to cover up. I just got fake plants, put them up, and you can't really see the van interior, and it makes it feel more like you're outdoors. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Now we can talk about the roof. So for the roof, I built my own aluminum roof rack because I've built one in the past and I just enjoyed making it. You get like to customize it yourself. And I have pine boards running along the sides and more birch plywood at the front with a wind guard, so it's pretty quiet. And then I have crossbars that are horizontally on the van roof, and basically I can attach anything I want to it. I'm going to have a snow broom that's hooked onto the side of the pine boards, and I'll be able to take it off and scrape my solar panels. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the middle of the roof space. I thought I could put another solar panel there, or I could put a deck and be able to stand there. Whatever I want to do in the future, I can do. For the pine boards and the wood, I wanted it to look more outdoorsy than a standard black roof rack, which just has like a aggressive look to me. The wood makes it more friendly looking, and so I installed side steps on the passenger and driver side of the van, and then also a rear step. Those are super necessary because it's really high off the ground. This is the all-wheel drive version of the Sprinter, so it has like a 3.5-inch lift on it from the factory. So those steps really help. They're heavy-duty steel painted black. So if I'm going off-roading and I hit a rock on the side, it'll hit those side rails before it hits the van. And then in the back of the van, the rear step allows you to still use the tow hitch.
I do plan on doing some towing with this vehicle, which is a nice benefit. And that's my van, folks. It's a home on wheels that does not have a shower. I go to Planet Fitness for that. And I'm back to traveling. And I think what's next for me is I'm gonna build another one of these with all the things that I wish I did differently. And then I'm gonna sell that to someone. And then I'm gonna start making that perfect, efficient, logical, fun, adventurous van available for sale for people. And just, I think I'm good at this. So stay tuned, and the more people who do van life in any capacity, the better van life becomes and the better society becomes. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching.